Last time it's an in-betweener. So there's two main things I've seen people do that aren't sure about any of these scenarios. One of those is saying, okay, say you wanted to buy a resale or do a new construction home and fully relocate to Southwest Florida, Orlando, whatever it may be. And say like that home, spitballing here, but that home is 1.5 million, 1.8, maybe you're looking at a custom build, maybe it's Lee Weatherington or John Cannon or Arthur Ruttenberg or Stock or Anchor, or one of these guys, right? It takes 24 months to build these homes, it's long, and you're like, in this market, I'm not sure I feel good about that. That feels fragile. If that's you, but you're like, I'm gonna go grab a rental to get down here to learn more. I think that makes a ton of sense, right? I'm not gonna talk anyone out of that because what I don't know, and which we try to make an art form of solving here at Sunshine State Company, what I don't know is I don't know what you're gonna feel when you get here. That is the variable that I can't control. I can educate you as much as humanly possible before you get to town, just so your visit isn't in vain. That's what I wanna do. I don't wanna be your like, your tour guide or realtor or whatever. Like I wanna equip you where your time is best utilized. And what I don't know is when you show up to all these areas that you saw online, if you're like, nope. So I don't know that answer, right? So I think a lot of people want to get down here. And I think there's an in-between option. And I've done this 50 times probably with people. I think what you could do is you could not rent, you can not build your dream home, and you can have both. And I think what you do is if you want to test it, I think you buy the home you wouldn't have bought, but that you like as a rental for yourself for a short period of time, and you like the economics of the rental to rent out to someone else after. And this plays in a lot of scenarios, right? But the first one is simply like, okay, so say, again, everything has its place, just general caveat here. But say you said I wanted to build in Wild Blue in Lower Lakewood Ranch and Waterside with, let's say Lee Weatherington, on a 80-foot lot. That's gonna cost you 2.5 maybe, I don't know, 2.2. It's gonna take a long time though, too. Say you wanted to do that, but you're like, I don't wanna do it at these interest rates necessarily, albeit, right, 2 years away. Or say I wanted to get it started, but I don't want to sit in Boston the whole time I'm waiting, right? What you could do is you could buy an interim option, and again, liquidity is the thing here. You could buy an interim option that you wouldn't have bought as your dream home. You could buy the Lennar in Lorraine Lakes. You could buy D.R. Horton at Star Farms. You could buy something where it had low HOAs and a low principal and isn't weird when then you go to not flip it, but you go to rent it back out because it didn't take you that much cash. If you're this person, it didn't take you that much cash that kills you, where you don't need to pull that cash back out and you can go rent it. So you can not only provide the next family an opportunity they might not have had because they can't do the cash thing you did to get that home. You got it built, you finished it, but they can do the monthly payment. So I think that's beautiful. You can provide that opportunity. But also, it's still what it is on the surface. It's a new home that has low maintenance, that all the no-frills things that you wouldn't have valued if you like custom homes, standard materials, economies of scale, all the things these guys do to make these homes cheaper, as a rental is amazing, not only for maintenance, but to renting a new home is great all around. I don't care if it's marble versus quartz, it doesn't matter to the renter. So the interim option thing I think is huge. I think it's a scenario where I would maybe look at a townhome where I would have not before. I think it's very controllable because you don't have to be stuck in 2-year lease because you can move out whenever you want. I think you can move your homestead there, get it fully situated in Florida, and then move that. You got a lot of legs there, and I think you can move into that, also be building a home, gain equity for that for 2 years. You could HELOC that, and that could be your down payment for the other house you built. It's an amazing opportunity, right? The other thing I've done a bunch of times, and I hope that made sense. I maybe should have whiteboarded that a little bit, but that's an option for next time I just thought of. But the other thing you could do is, I've seen a lot of customers do. Again, if liquidity is not your issue, right? If you're sitting on cash where you're like, I could build this home and wait 24 months, and I'm not and I give up the opportunity to make money on that money. So, the 10, 15% it would have taken that I have to sit here with stock development or something for 2 years, that they're not going to invest it on my behalf. If I'm cool with that, then it doesn't hit your debt to income ratio at all. So all the other economics you're doing in the background, like I mentioned earlier in the video, no one sees it. No one sees that cash flow. They see it leave your bank account, you got to source it, but you can buy other stuff. It doesn't matter. It doesn't not impact you. You don't own that home, none of that kind of stuff. I've seen a lot of people not move into the homes because what you're taking a guess. You have no idea what the market's going to be, and you don't know if you're going to like that area in 24 months. And if it's a new community and you're in phase 1, you don't know if you're going to like the look of it by phase 2. So you're taking a risk, right? If the cash isn't risky to you, I've seen a lot of people not move in at all. And all they've done is they've waited to make that decision until it got closer. I've seen people move in through the holidays, get back out. I've seen them build multiple homes in one neighborhood, move into one while the other one, because it started later. And what you did is you paved the path. If you've done it smart and you guessed right, where you can lean into risk, where other people are not going to take any chance. If that's not that risky to you, then what you could end up with, one, is you could end up, again, all the same scenarios, like it just keeps recurring in my mind as I say it. You could end up where the 24 months that was the lag that we were just talking about with Phil and Melissa, what if interest rates drop 3%? One, now you actually own that home you can mortgage it at 3 if you decide to, take more advantage of the mortgage at that point because it's cheaper to buy the money versus your cash element. But at the same time, if you go to sell it, now you have a buyer pool that's buying at 5, not 7. It's best on both ends, right? So if you don't think this thing's gonna go to 10% or you have a lot of cash and that doesn't matter to you, because everything I said here matters only if you care about financing, then I think there's just a lot of ways to maneuver it. That's why the more I think about it, if you have some sort of cash engine that you're producing cash from that you could put into worlds like this, I don't know how much risk there is if you go to the right area in scenarios where you have forced risk mitigation through old school real estate dynamics, through builders forcing appreciation, through price fixing of different phases, which I don't know how better to describe it than that. It gives you like a lot, I don't know if it guarantees a benefit, but it does guarantee a risk mitigation in my personal opinion. And it just makes you be able to make moves. And I think moving money makes money a lot to me personally. So I wanted to conclude with that. I don't think it's ever black and white. I think it's all shades of gray. I think through conversation, you can come up with a lot of scenarios. If you came to me and you were like, I need to do this. It doesn't make sense, but I need to do it anyway. And I don't just want bad news, interest rates suck, market's terrible, bad news, and then no solution. If you're in that camp, I think there's a lot of things to figure out. And I think there's a lot of things to figure out using teams like mine. I think there's a lot of things to figure out by yourself. And I think if there's value provided, I think everybody wins. So that's how I want to wrap this one. All right, my friends, that's a wrap for today's video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Please hit that subscribe button if you've not already done so. If you did enjoy it, just the best way to see all of our new releases. Again, my name is Adam Hancock, and we have a couple other interesting items if you want to get more involved. One of those is a newsletter. So we release about 2 newsletters a month. If you're on this email list, there's one in the middle of the month, one at the beginning. They're very different than anything you're going to get on YouTube, and they're different from each other. Secondly, we have a free tools and guides tab on the website that has a plethora of relocation guides, analytical tools. We're going to pour a lot more into that bucket as well, but you can have all of that at your access at thesunshinestateco.com. And finally, if you are in the real estate market, buying, selling, investing, new construction, does not matter. Now we're 20 years out, and we can assist you in any way. If you resonated with this kind of vibe of our content, our brokerage is even more unique than our YouTube. But they're really not in a silo from each other. So please, at the very least, vet that out independently through our website or grab a conversation with my broker, Tana, to see if we might be a good fit for you. I think you'd be surprised by kind of the format if you're used to the regular real estate industry. And most importantly, thank you so much for watching today's video. We'll see you on the next one.